Welcome to the Depth Dive. We're here to, well, plunge right into ideas that can really shift how we see things. So imagine for a second, what if identity wasn't about, lines on a map or a stamp in your passport? What if belonging wasn't about where you were born, but maybe what you create, who you connect with? What if it was just fundamental, like breathing?
Today, our source material is a bit different. It's not the usual report or academic paper. We're diving into excerpts from a novel outline. It's called Deported.
Right, and it's fiction, definitely a narrative, but it uses that fiction, that almost magical element sometimes, to explore some really deep, real-world stuff, like statelessness, identity,
Yeah.
and how communities can actually form completely outside the usual systems. It's quite powerful. Yeah, it sounds that. So our mission today is to really pull out the insights from this fictional journey. We're focusing on the central character, Aurelian Sol, and the communities he sort of inspires. We want to understand what it means to be unplaceable in a world that really wants to label everything. And maybe most importantly, how new kinds of belonging can emerge when the old definitions just don't fit anymore.
Exactly. And how human creativity, compassion, how they can maybe redefine what a nation even means. And using this fictional outline, especially with its touch of magical realism, lets us tackle these big, bureaucratic, human concepts in a really evocative way. It's not preachy, but it grounds these fantastical situations in struggles that feel very real for people without a place.
Like it uses the illogical to make us question our own logic.
Precisely. It pushes us to question our assumptions about citizenship, home, even what makes someone a person according to the system. It gets us to look at the systems we just take for granted.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. And at the center is Aurelian Sol. Even the name is interesting, isn't it? Aurelian.
Evokes empire, Rome, Byzantium. Big history.
Right, a sense of belonging somewhere vast. But then Solson, like this bright, creative, almost unbreakable spirit.
Yeah, it sets up this tension right away. Like he embodies something too big for any single nation to hold.
The source describes him as voiceless, stateless, rootless, but full of magic, laughter, and uncanny grace. That's the core paradox, right?
Absolutely. On paper, he's defined by absence. No country, no documents, no past they can verify. But despite all that missing official stuff, he just radiates this quiet charisma.
And he doesn't just cope, he can conjure new beauty from scraps.
Exactly. Think about that. Someone with literally no formal identity, no voice in the usual sense, but he changes everyone he meets. Profoundly.
It really makes you rethink what influence means. We usually think titles, status.
Right. But Aurelian, stripped bare, his influence comes from presence, creativity, just being.
Yeah.
It suggests maybe real power isn't what you control, but the resonance of your spirit.
Like those community organizers or artists who inspire without any official rank.
Yeah, exactly that kind of thing. His vulnerability combined with this authentic creation feels way more powerful than any bureaucratic stamp.
So, for you listening, think about that. How do you impact people, maybe without even realizing it? Is it your job title or something more genuine?
It's a good question to keep in mind as we follow his journey.
And that journey starts almost absurdly. His first arrest in Arizona, he's just sitting cross-legged under a jacaranda tree, peaceful.
Blonde, pale, dusty, silent.
And boom, presumed undocumented. The officers don't even know what to charge him with. He hasn't done anything.
So they charge him with existing.
It's so stark, almost Kafkaesque. It shows how these systems just short-circuit when faced with something they can't file away neatly.
And that's the bureaucracy struggle right there.
Yeah.
The intake notes are almost tragically funny in their confusion. Name, unknown, age, approx, 30, nationality, presumed Mexican, language, unknown, speech, nonverbal belongings, none.
That one entry says it all, doesn't it?
It really does. He doesn't fit. Fingerprints, 0 matches. Not just locally, but in the big shared databases. He has no legal shadow, no citizenship anywhere, no records. It makes him impossible for the authorities to manage.
But also kind of fascinating, maybe even awe-inspiring to the people he actually encounters.
Exactly. He's this living ink blot in the ledger of nations, as the source puts it, a riddle they just can't solve with rules and forms.
And this inability to categorize him, it leads to this relentless cycle of deportation. Just keep sending him somewhere else. He must belong somewhere, right? Just
Yep.
not here.
Yeah, let's look at a couple of those deportations. They really show the absurdity and Aurelian's strange way of leaving his mark.
Okay, so first, Mexico. He ends up in a detention center near Oaxaca. And what does he do?
He starts making these beautiful papier-mâché swans out of used tortillas.
Use tortillas.
Right. And then, get this, he dyes the guards' boots, sparkling gold, using only flower pollen and water.
Wow. That's not rebellion in the usual sense. It's creative disruption.
Totally. And the official reaction?
Yeah.
Almost instantaneous. He's not Mexican.
It's like their definition of Mexican just couldn't stretch to include that. It wasn't about papers. It was about him not fitting their idea of what Mexican is.
His creativity keeps messing with their boxes.
Hmm.
Then in Guatemala, they give him traditional food, pipians, and he turns banana leaves into floating lanterns, draws the national birds in the sand, makes beauty everywhere.
But then his appearance changes. Hair darkens.
Yeah, it's like his body itself refuses to be fixed. So the authorities suddenly say he's too light-skinned and deport him again.
He just keeps shifting, doesn't he? Physically, even.
Then Morocco, Casablanca. He's tracing stars on cell walls, spinning plastic cups into musical instruments, bringing sound and pattern into this sterile place.
But he doesn't speak French or Arabic.
Nope. So again, he's deported. The interrogators are stumped. Commissioner Atsi, even a Sufi scholar they bring in, Imam Idris el-Kamel. The scholar calls him that ink blot in the ledger of nations, saying he's just outside your understanding. He's not just undocumented. He's incomprehensible to their framework.
His existence literally breaks their process, so they send him to Siberia.
Right.
Yeah.
Stark landscape.
Mm-hmm.
And there he melts snow into these perfect ice sculptures, turns cold gruel into hot golden bread somehow.
Okay, that's bordering on, well, magic.
Which is exactly what the guards think. They call him a witch and deport him.
Then Japan. A place with such deep aesthetics.
And he fits right in a way. Folds 1,000 paper cranes in detention, and one. It actually flaps its wings.
Seriously.
According to the source, yeah. A stoic guard apparently weeps as this moment of pure wonder.
He doesn't speak Japanese.
So, deported again. It's this heartbreaking pattern. He connects with individuals on this deep level, but the system, the state, only sees the lack of conformity.
You can see it clearly now. Beauty, wonder, calm. But if you don't tick the right boxes, linguistically, nationally, you're out. It's not even necessarily malice, is it? Just systemic failure.
Pretty much. Egypt's next. Cairo. He turns sand into glass beads, draws ancient constellations on the wall.
Universal navigation.
Right. But they see spy. They can't imagine another motive. A bureaucrat there, Imam Tahir, said something profound. He's like a parable someone forgot to write. Too open, too symbolic for a system needing hard facts.
And it keeps going. Bhutan, Brazil, Congo, Iceland.
Same story. He's not one of us. In Iceland, they're totally baffled. Their official conclusion. He's neither elf nor Icelandic.
That says it all. It underlines how profound his statelessness is. No legal shadow, no citizenship, zero records globally.
Makes him unmanageable for systems built on tracking, but also maybe a source of wonder for people outside those systems.
It forces that question. What does it mean to be defined by what you're not? And how lost are systems when they meet someone they can't label?
Aurelian Sol is that question.
Yeah.
And the world keeps saying, not here, not ours. His journey strips away everything we usually use. Nationality, language, jobs, stuff. What's left is just pure human presence. Being.
For you listening, what if you weren't defined by those labels? Your passport, job title, where you were born. What would that feel like?
It's an invitation to imagine identity as something much more fluid, maybe more authentic. What you do matters more than what box you fit in.
Okay, so he defies every system, every label. But what happens when someone so unplaceable is just lost to the system?
But maybe that loss isn't an ending. Maybe it's a beginning.
Which brings us to Spiral Island.
Exactly. The genesis of this whole new thing. His arrival there is pure chance, almost like destiny intervening.
So he's being deported again, this time to a fake micronation, Varelia.
Yeah, some billionaire playground in the Pacific. They basically give up and decide, okay, send him to the U.S., put him on a ship.
But a storm hits, a huge one, capsizes the ship.
And somehow, Aurelian washes ashore on this hidden, uninhabited island, floating on a shipping container.
A container filled with books, tools, seeds, instruments.
Everything needed to start creating.
Yeah.
It's like the universe itself provided the scraps for him to work his magic, just like he always does.
And what does he do first?
He doesn't build walls or claim territory. He plants a garden, and it blooms overnight.
Wow.
It builds shelters out of coral and light, delicate things, and birds. They just flock to him instantly.
And crucially, the source says he named it nothing. He claimed nothing.
That's huge. In a world obsessed with ownership, lines on maps, he establishes belonging through absence of claim. The island becomes this place for remembering, asking nothing, demanding no name.
An anti-nation.
Essentially, yeah. a sanctuary defined by what it isn't. No borders, no claims, no imposed history.
And then others arrive. How do they find it?
Not through maps. They're drawn by his signals, spiraling smoke, a sundial made of spoons, creative signals, not distress calls.
First ones are May, an environmental activist, and Joaquim, an Angolan fisherman.
Right. And they aren't seeking asylum in the usual way. They're just drawn there, pulled by something inexplicable.
And how are they welcomed? What's the entry requirement?
That's the beauty of it. No documents, no questions about their past, just a cup of water, a hammock, a carved object, and a place to plant one seed.
Wow. Instant belonging. Shedding the past.
Totally. Focus only on the present, the future, the shared act of creation. It immediately dismantles the systems that rejected them.
And this forms the mute village idea.
Kind of. It's not literal silence, but May and Aurelian developed this rhythm, this new tongue of shared understanding through action, gesture, intuition, communication beyond words.
Building trust through doing, not declaring.
Exactly. Imagine a community where that's the primary mode. It forces a deeper connection, maybe more empathy, less room for manipulation through language.
And the island's name. He draws a spiral in the sand.
Yeah, a fluid symbol, always changing, organic, not fixed like a name on a map.
It really is a place where your past drops away, and just your presence is enough.
And this different way of being extends to how they handle knowledge, history. Joaquim suggests a library.
Even though they have no books.
Right. So Aurelian builds the house of echoes from glass bottles, discarded things becoming a vessel for memory.
And stories aren't on paper.
They're on banana leaves, carvings, stones, woven mats, tangible memories. And in the middle, a spiral sculpture representing every language that had ever been spoken and then forgotten.
That's incredible. A living archive, not just storing data, but feeling it.
It challenges what knowledge even is, not just facts preserved, but experiences remembered and felt.
For you listening, think about the weight you carry from your past, from expectations. What if you could just set it down, connect on that deeper, wordless level?
It's a powerful idea, a library that remembers through its people. But even this near utopia faces challenges, right? Which brings us to internal growth and external eyes.
Because no community is an island, ironically. Even this one. No police, no money, no leader, no flag. But they still have disagreements.
Of course. Human nature doesn't just vanish.
And this is where Celeste Moreau, the journalist, comes in. She arrives wanting the scoop, right? To uncover secrets.
The standard journalistic MO. But the place changes her. She ends up burning her notes.
Oy.
She has this realization. Journalism was how we made sense of the world, but maybe it's how we stopped listening.
Yeah.
Trying to report on the island using her usual methods meant she was missing the point entirely.
Her journey mirrors the island's message then.
Exactly. It shows that friction happens, but how they handle it is key. It's not about rules and punishment.
How do they resolve conflicts?
It's about processing, not adjudicating. They might use dance, storytelling, drum circles, or shared grief expressed on a wall, not to divide, but to write on.
And Aurelian's role, he's not a judge.
No, he makes only paths. He facilitates ways forward, new perspectives. It's about movement, shared experience, collective expression, not legal codes.
So justice becomes dynamic, measured in understanding, not verdicts.
That's the idea, a constantly evolving process. It really forces you to rethink governance.
And inevitably, the outside world notices, not through spies, but a weather satellite.
Yep. Sees this strange spiral of smoke from an island that should be empty, which leads to UN observation.
And their reports must be fascinating.
Utterly bewildered.
Yeah.
Approximately 72 individuals from over 30 countries. No systems of currency, law enforcement, hierarchy, or border control. Yet there is peace.
Peace without the usual structures.
Their conclusion is basically admitting defeat to their own categories. This is not a nation, this is not a commune, it is something else entirely.
Another system failing to label it.
And Aurelian's response to this scrutiny, his gift to the UN, it's not a document, it's a hollow globe.
Made of.
Interlocking spirals, feathers, stones, bones, and coral. Natural, found things. With a single leaf floating inside.
The message seems clear. We're outside your maps, your claims, your definitions.
Absolutely. A direct challenge to their worldview, which naturally causes a stir.
A diplomatic storm, the source calls it. How do the big powers react?
Predictably. The U.S. sees a security risk something outside its control. China calls it a stateless anomaly. New Zealand wants to claim the land but not the people. France offers rescue, trying to absorb them. Russia says it's a hoax.
Everyone tries to fit it into their box and it just won't go.
Meanwhile, Celeste, the journalist who stayed, sends out this message. There is a place where no one asks for papers, where justice is measured in movement. Silence is not void. It is invitation. It's not paradise, but it is possible.
A statement of radical possibility, a beacon.
And it starts drawing people in. Even the first spy sent to gather intel.
He gets transformed too.
Yeah, he tries to do his job, gather intel for the system of control. But the island's way of being, the creation, the non-judgment, it gets to him. He ends up just carving his first spoon and stays.
Wow. His mission changes from spying to creating.
Then a Navy ship appears. Huge symbol of state power. It just turns away. Aurelian puts this sculpture on the shore, a silent statement. You cannot claim what cannot be named. It's like the sheer force of their ungraspable identity repels the conventional power.
This is where it gets even more mysterious. Aurelian vanishes into the jungle.
Yeah, almost like he steps back intentionally to let the community fully own its path.
And does it falter?
Quite the opposite.
Right.
It flowers. They create new languages, sculptures, become this living archive of the possible. His absence proves the strength of the collective foundation he helped build.
So his return isn't about taking charge again.
No, it's described as coming back from deeper. He helps them build a spiral trench, both symbolic and protective, and the memory that cannot be deported.
A collective identity forged not in history books, but shared defiance and creation. A memorial to refusing erasure.
Exactly. So for you listening,
Yeah.
Can a community really thrive outside global systems of control and categorization? What's the power in a group defining itself on its own terms?
This collective self-definition becomes crucial when the outside world tries again, right? Confronting officialdom.
Right. The UN comes back with a proposal, still trying to fit them in.
What's the offer this time?
Temporary Autonomous Zone, TAZ status, fast-tracked ID papers, satellite monitoring.
Sounds practical, maybe even helpful.
From their perspective, maybe. But it's still an attempt to label, monitor, absorb, to enclose them within the system.
And the islanders' response?
Simple, powerful. Joaquim, the fisherman, takes the envelope with the proposal
Right.
and just places it in the fire, unopened.
A complete, non-verbal refusal, no negotiation.
They won't be confined by temporary labels handed down by others. Aurelian reinforces this with his flag in the sand.
What's that like?
Translucent silk, no emblem. Just a sculpture of 7 open hands invitation. Humanity. And the word unbroken, etched in coral, a flag for a nation of spirit, not territory.
But then comes a really different kind of offer, not from a government.
No, from a tech giant, Ionis Systems. Through an AI called Sindara, they offer immortality.
The immortality?
A sovereign zone on our MetNet. Full neural mapping, the promise. Aurelian will never be deported again. Digital permanence. Freedom from physical borders.
That's seductive
Yeah.
and terrifying. The ultimate control, maybe. Give up your physical self to be digitally free.
It's the ultimate paradox. And Aurelian's refusal is just silent, profound.
What does he do?
He doesn't argue. He takes a stone from their ash circle, a feather from the banyan tree, a piece of driftwood, real things from his unmapped physical life. He places them in the AI's shiny cube, and the cube just shuts.
Yeah. He answers their tech offer with raw, elemental reality.
It forces that question. What kind of freedom, what kind of permanence do we actually want? Is it being digitally preserved, or is it the messy, real, transient human experience?
How do we value being alive versus being archived?
His actions say permanence lies in creation, connection, presence in the physical world, and that philosophy gets tested in a really heartbreaking way next.
This is the delegation of the drowned.
Yes. Children arriving on rafts, from nations literally swallowed by rising seas.
Yeah.
Climate refugees.
Their homes are just gone.
And their question cuts right to the core. How do you stay remembered without a place? It highlights the failure of traditional nations facing environmental collapse and the desperate need for something new.
So how does the spiral community respond?
They create the declaration of the stateless future. Not on paper, but etched into sea bark. A living document.
What does it declare?
Fundamental truths for their reality. No one can be illegal on land that was never ours, challenging borders themselves. Statelessness is not emptiness, reframing it as potential. Names can be grown, not just given, self-determination, and maybe the most profound, home is where we make each other real.
That's, a whole new worldview. And how is it signed?
Not with ink, with objects. A feather, a broken ID tag, symbols of dispossession turned into markers of chosen identity. It's redefining governance, identity, belonging itself.
And this leads to new forms of communication, too, like Kilo, the boy humming Sanuja.
Right. a language with no alphabet that could only be felt. And Aurelian recognizes it, suggesting it's his own native tongue, the language of the truly unplaceable.
This shared nonverbal understanding underpins their spiral governance.
Exactly. A new way to organize, based on 3 ideas: rotation over rulership, story is law, and consent is a chord, not a signature.
Okay, let's break those down. Rotation over rulership.
Means no fixed leaders. People or groups rotate responsibilities based on need and skill. They step up, contribute, step back. Prevents power sticking in one place. Keeps things fluid.
Story is law.
Instead of judges and codes, if there's a conflict, people tell their stories of it. Resolution comes from collective understanding, empathy, finding a new shared story forward. Not from rules, but from relationship.
And consent is a chord, not a signature.
Agreement isn't just yes-no on paper. It's like musical harmony, a collective resonance where everyone's voice contributes to the overall chord. Even small voices matter.
It makes you wonder what language is truly universal. Maybe it's not words, but empathy, shared rhythm.
For you listening, think about your own nonverbal communication. How much understanding comes from tone, gesture, just being in a space together?
And this innovative governance gets tested immediately. A drone appears.
Yeah, a drone with a flag. Surveillance and national assertion rolled into one. The very system they rejected.
The response.
Not fighting, just responsive being. A silent song of presence, this undeniable resonance. And the drone. It pauses, tilts, vanishes. They meet control with unmeasurable presence.
That's beautiful. And this continues with the Dose fleet.
Right. These autonomous naval drones left over from dissolved nations, war machines, adrift, symbols of a failed world.
And the spiral community.
They use musical judo. They don't destroy the drones, they reprogram them, transform them.
To what?
From war machines into memory guardians. They call them the Choir of Steel. Imagine. Drones repurposed to protect the stateless, singing histories of forgotten places.
Turning weapons into protectors and archivists, that's incredibly hopeful.
This theme of repurposing remembering continues. They find Null, an island that tried to escape grief by forgetting itself.
Oh.
Memories became commodities, bought and sold in a memory market.
Oh, wow.
The spiral community introduces the listening circle. Memories shared freely, witnessed, not traded. And Aurelian's presence, his spiral resonance, it causes the island's control algorithm, the core, to glitch.
And the people.
They awaken, remember their own stories, freely. They rename the island Remane, what remains, what's left when artificial forgetting is stripped away.
From erasure to remembrance. From commerce back to connection.
Which leads perfectly to the discovery of the archive of Unclaimed Lives. Found by Kier, a boy born in the ashes of border fires another victim of the old world.
And this archive isn't shelves and books.
No shelves, it had songs. Mapping is done via gesture, movement, tone. It's alive. Emret, the keeper of echoes, teaches the grammar of refusal, how to resist systems that try to define you. They even develop a lexicon of lightlessness for experiences outside the mainstream gaze. An archive of lived truths, not filed documents.
Exactly. And inside it, they build the Embassy of Nowhere, its flag. Sculpted from wind, stitched from truths unfiled. Ephemeral, shifting.
And visitors are asked,
What do you believe the world has forgotten to ask you? An invitation to reclaim your narrative, voice your truth.
Then Nomi arrives, born in space.
Yeah, on a satellite station. Represents a future not from exile, but inner space. She changes the archive again, helps create the Atlas of Arrival.
An Atlas of Arrival.
A living document mapping journeys, transformations, not where you're from, but where you arrive, how you become. It challenges static maps, static identity.
It forces us to rethink reality, existence, when systems try to erase people. What does it mean to be a citizen of nowhere, yet a witness of everyone?
This whole journey shows identity isn't fixed. It's a practice, a process, a constant becoming. Even when all the usual labels are gone, what remains is that human spark.
Sure.
Creation, connection, asserting your truth. What an incredible journey we've covered. From Aurelian Sol, the unplaceable man, through deportations, to Spiral Island emerging, evolving into this nation of no name, defined by shared experience, creativity, refusing categorization, not by borders or papers. It's really about reclaiming dignity and redefining home itself.
This deep dive into Deported really makes you question everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Nation, home, identity. It offers this radical but deeply human alternative. So the final thought maybe for you listening, if our world keeps building borders, physical and digital, keeps trying to box in identity, What new forms of unmapped existence might people invent to find their real home? A home that isn't a place, but a practice. Always moving, always being created through breath, creativity, and just shared humanity.
A powerful question to carry with us.